Kenpo Karate is a unique martial art. It blends effective self-defense with personal development. It teaches you practical fighting skills. Kenpo also emphasizes character building. Respect, discipline, and self-control are vital. Kenpo's history is rich and interesting. It traces back centuries. It evolved from various martial arts styles. Today, Kenpo is practiced worldwide. People from all walks of life train in Kenpo. Kenpo training offers many benefits. It improves physical fitness and coordination. You learn to defend yourself. Kenpo also sharpens the mind. It builds confidence and focus. Through Kenpo, you learn about yourself. You push your limits. You gain valuable life skills. These skills help you on and off the mat. Teaching Kenpo online is a new frontier. It requires careful planning and setup. You need to create a virtual dojo. This space should be inviting and functional. First, choose the right technology. A reliable video conferencing platform is essential. You will need a good camera and microphone. Clear audio and video are crucial. Next, design your training area. Good lighting is important. A clean and uncluttered background looks professional. Use equipment that is visible on camera. Finally, create a welcoming atmosphere. Greet your students with energy. Encourage interaction and questions. Make them feel comfortable in the virtual dojo. Teaching Kenpo online presents unique challenges. Keeping students engaged is key. You need to adapt your teaching methods. Online learning requires different approaches. Structure your classes thoughtfully. Begin with a warm-up. Introduce new techniques clearly. Break down complex movements. Provide ample time for practice. Utilize interactive exercises. Partner drills can be adapted for online learning. Use online tools and resources. Incorporate quizzes and games. Build a sense of community. Encourage student interaction. Create online forums or groups. Celebrate achievements and progress. Marketing your online Kenpo classes is important. Reach out to potential students. Use social media to your advantage. Create engaging content. Share testimonials from current students. Offer free trial classes. Highlight the benefits of online learning. Flexibility and convenience are attractive selling points. Teaching Kenpo online comes with challenges. Technical issues can arise. Stay calm and be patient. Have backup plans in place. Maintaining discipline in a virtual setting can be tough. Set clear expectations. Be consistent with your rules. Address any behavior issues promptly.
Hey there, fellow shooting enthusiasts. Today, I'm diving into something truly special, long-range shooting. Think of it as a fascinating blend of science and Zen. Imagine standing on a serene hill, your rifle in hand, and feeling the calm before you take that perfect shot. Long-range shooting isn't just about pulling the trigger, it's a dance between you and the elements. Wind, ballistics, and ballistic coefficients, they all play a crucial role. But there's also a mindset, a way of thinking that takes you beyond just the mechanics. This incredible book, The Magic of Long-Range Shooting, Zen or Science, dives deep into this world. Written by a former U.S. Army sniper who graduated in 1989, it combines military precision with civilian technology. The author shares his journey turning complex concepts into something you can understand and apply. Let's talk about wind for a second. It can be your fiercest enemy or your best ally. Understanding its patterns and how it affects your bullet's path is crucial. Then there's ballistics, the heart and soul of long-range shooting. Knowing how your bullet behaves in flight can mean the difference between a bullseye and a miss. But here's the kicker. It's not just about the math and science, it's about finding your Zen. Being in the right headspace can make all the difference. Consistent firing positions, mental focus, and practice. These are your keys to mastery. So grab this book, read it, and take it to the range. Let the science and Zen guide you. Practice, have fun, and watch your long-range shooting skills soar. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe and happy shooting.
Veterans unemployment under the Trump administration, a historic milestone. The unemployment rate for veterans in the United States has remained a topic of significant interest and concern for policymakers, advocacy groups, and the general public alike. Recent developments throughout the Trump administration, particularly in the years leading up to 2018, highlighted a notable decline in veterans' unemployment to its lowest level in nearly 2 decades. The culmination of this trend was underscored by the July 2018 veterans' unemployment rate, which stood at 3.0%, a figure that matched the lowest rate recorded since May 2001. Veterans' unemployment refers to the joblessness that affects individuals who have served in the United States Armed Forces. This issue is particularly pertinent due to the unique challenges veterans face when transitioning to civilian employment. Factors such as physical and mental health issues, skills mismatches, and societal perceptions can impede their success in the labor market. Even before the Trump administration, the rate of unemployment among veterans had fluctuated significantly, demonstrating a need for focused efforts to facilitate the integration of veterans into the workforce. The economic context surrounding veterans' unemployment is essential to understand the fluctuation in its rates. The end of major military operations and the slowdown of hiring in the public sector often coincided with periods of high unemployment among veterans. However, the improving economy seen during the late 2010s made a substantial impact by enhancing job availability across various sectors. Several factors contributed to the notable decrease in veterans' unemployment rates during the Trump administration. First and foremost, the overall economic growth experienced during this period aided job creation. As businesses thrived and expanded, numerous employment opportunities opened up that veterans could fill. The low unemployment rate across the general populace correlated with broader shifts in economic prosperity, which are crucial for supporting veterans seeking work. Additionally, various government initiatives aimed at specifically targeting veterans were instrumental. The Trump administration sought to streamline access to resources like job training programs and networking events. Notable initiatives included the Veterans Employment Through Technology Education Courses, Vet Tech program, which was designed to equip veterans with tech skills that are in high demand. Such programs not only increased skill levels, but also enhanced veterans' confidence as they transitioned to civilian careers. The administration's focus on deregulation and tax reform also played a role. Policies aimed at reducing burdens on businesses made it easier for employers to hire veterans. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, for instance, provided incentives for companies to employ veterans, aligning business interests with the goal of reducing veterans' unemployment. The reduction in veterans' unemployment to 3.0% had significant repercussions for individuals who served in the military. Financial stability is paramount for reintegrating into civilian life. Lower unemployment rates directly corresponds to improved economic conditions for veterans and their families. With gainful employment, veterans can access better health care, housing, and opportunities for education. Moreover, employment contributes to a sense of purpose and community, which is vital for many veterans dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, or other mental health challenges. Being engaged in the workforce fosters social interaction and integration, which can help mitigate feelings of isolation that some veterans experience after returning from military service. However, while the decreasing unemployment rate is encouraging, it is crucial to consider the quality of jobs offered to veterans. While the rate itself offers a positive outlook, the nature of employment and the wage levels achieved are important. High-paying and fulfilling positions must be available to ensure that veterans can sustain their livelihoods and contribute positively to society. Despite the positive trends observed, challenges remain in addressing veterans' unemployment comprehensively. Continued efforts are necessary to ensure the sustainability of the low unemployment rate. Policymakers must remain vigilant to ensure that economic fluctuations do not disproportionately affect veterans. The potential impacts of global events, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, highlight the vulnerability of the job market, where sudden downturns can affect all demographics, including veterans. Moreover, while initiatives like VetTech represent important steps forward, there remains a need for ongoing evaluation and adaptation of programs. Understanding the evolving job market and the skills required by industries will be essential to maintain a competitive edge for veterans. As technology advances, reskilling and upskilling initiatives will become increasingly necessary to provide veterans with opportunities in high-demand fields, especially in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM. Additionally, ongoing outreach efforts are crucial to ensure that all veterans, including those from minority populations or those with disabilities, are aware of resources and employment opportunities available to them. Tailored programs that address the unique challenges faced by these groups can further enhance their prospects in the job market. The decline in veterans' unemployment to the lowest level in nearly 2 decades during the Trump administration marks a significant milestone in the ongoing effort to support former military personnel in their transition to civilian life. While various factors, including economic growth and targeted government initiatives, contributed to this achievement, challenges remain that necessitate sustained attention and innovative solutions. Employing veterans in meaningful roles not only supports their financial independence, but also enables them to contribute their skills and experiences to society. Continued advocacy, effective policy implementation, and a commitment to comprehensive support for veterans' employment will be fundamental in ensuring that this progress is not only maintained, but enhanced in future years.
Long-range shooting requires shooters to carefully calculate various ballistic factors, such as the effects of gravity and wind, due to the significant distance to the target. Unlike shooting at shorter ranges where adjustments are minor, at longer ranges, wind drift becomes a major factor affecting accuracy. Some believe that true long-range shooting involves equally important considerations of wind, distance, and atmospheric conditions alongside shooting skills. Even a technically perfect shot can miss the target if calculations are incorrect or conditions are unpredictable. It is widely acknowledged that successful long-range shooting requires a combination of technical proficiency and meticulous planning.
Throughout history, the concept of citizenship has been in constant flux, molded by the ebb and flow of empires and ideologies. From the ancient Greeks, with their city-states and notions of civic virtue, to the Roman Republic, where citizenship was both a privilege and a burden, the relationship between the individual and the state has been a source of enduring tension. The rise of monarchies with their divine right of kings marked a shift towards centralized power and a diminished role for the common citizen. Feudalism, with its rigid social hierarchy and obligations, further solidified the power of the ruling class, leaving the vast majority of people as subjects, not citizens. The Enlightenment, with its emphasis on reason, individual liberty, and natural rights, challenged the foundations of monarchical rule and paved the way for the modern nation-state. The American Revolution, a beacon of hope for those yearning for self-governance, enshrined the principles of popular sovereignty, limited government, and individual rights in the United States Constitution. This revolutionary document, a testament to the enduring power of human aspirations, established a system where power flowed from the people, not from a distant monarch or a privileged elite. However, the struggle between freedom and state control did not end with the ratification of the Constitution. The tension between individual liberty and the common good, between the rights of the individual and the needs of society, continues to shape the contours of American citizenship. Today, as we navigate the complexities of a globalized world, we are once again grappling with fundamental questions about the nature of citizenship, the role of government, and the meaning of national identity. The challenges we face are not merely theoretical or abstract. They are real, they are pressing, and they have profound implications for the future of our nation. The erosion of national sovereignty, the rise of global governance structures, and the increasing interconnectedness of the world economy have all contributed to a sense of unease among many Americans. They feel as if their country is slipping away from them, that their voices are no longer being heard, and that their values are under assault. The American middle class, long the bedrock of our nation's economic prosperity and social stability, is facing unprecedented challenges. Once the envy of the world, the American dream of upward mobility, homeownership, and a secure retirement is increasingly out of reach for millions of hardworking Americans. The forces behind this decline are complex and multifaceted, but their impact is undeniable. Globalization, while creating new opportunities for some, has also led to the outsourcing of jobs, the suppression of wages, and the hollowing out of American manufacturing. The rise of automation and artificial intelligence, while promising increased productivity and efficiency, also threatens to displace millions of workers from their jobs, further exacerbating economic inequality. The decline of unions, once a powerful voice for working Americans, has weakened the bargaining power of labor and contributed to a widening gap between the haves and the have-nots. The consequences of this decline are far-reaching and profound. As the middle class shrinks, so too does its purchasing power, which in turn weakens the overall economy. Social mobility stagnates, as fewer Americans have the opportunity to climb the economic ladder and achieve a better life for themselves and their children. Political polarization intensifies, as those left behind by the global economy feel increasingly alienated from the political process and resentful of those they perceive as benefiting from the status quo. The decline of the middle class is not just an economic issue, it is a social, political, and cultural crisis that threatens the very fabric of our nation. It is a crisis that demands our attention, our action, and our commitment to finding solutions that will restore economic opportunity and social mobility for all Americans. The United States has always been a nation of immigrants, a beacon of hope for those seeking a better life on our shores. However, the issue of immigration has become increasingly complex and contentious in recent decades, with profound implications for our national identity, our economic well-being, and our very sovereignty. The porous nature of our borders, coupled with the allure of the American dream, has led to a surge in illegal immigration, straining our resources, overwhelming our social services, and undermining the rule of law. While many argue that immigrants contribute to our economy and enrich our culture, the reality is far more nuanced. Illegal immigration in particular places a significant burden on taxpayers, depresses wages for low-skilled workers, and fuels organized crime and human trafficking. The failure of our government to secure our borders and enforce our immigration laws has eroded public trust and created a sense of lawlessness in many communities. Moreover, the influx of millions of people from diverse cultures, many of whom do not speak English and do not share our values, poses a significant challenge to our national unity and our ability to assimilate newcomers into the American mainstream. The melting pot ideal, where immigrants from all over the world came together to forge a new national identity, has given way to a salad bowl mentality, where different cultures coexist but do not necessarily blend or integrate. This trend towards balkanization, fueled by identity politics and multiculturalism, threatens to divide us along ethnic and cultural lines, undermining our sense of shared purpose and national identity. America, once a beacon of unity and a symbol of hope for people from all walks of life, is facing a crisis of identity. The rise of tribalism, fueled by identity politics and the politics of resentment, is tearing at the very fabric of our nation, dividing us along racial, ethnic, religious, and ideological lines. What was once a melting pot, where people from all over the world came together to forge a new national identity based on shared values and aspirations, is now fragmenting into a collection of competing tribes, each vying for power, influence, and recognition. Identity politics, with its emphasis on group identity over individual merit, has poisoned our public discourse, creating a climate of suspicion, hostility, and resentment. Instead of judging individuals based on the content of their character, as Martin Luther King Jr. so eloquently urged us to do, we are now encouraged to see each other through the lens of race, gender, sexual orientation, and other group affiliations. This obsession with identity has led to a culture of victimhood, where groups compete for the mantle of oppression, and where any perceived slight is amplified and weaponized for political gain. The consequences of this tribalism are far-reaching and profound. It undermines our sense of shared purpose and national unity, making it increasingly difficult to address the challenges we face as a nation. It erodes trust in our institutions, as people lose faith in the ability of government to represent the interests of all Americans, not just those of favored groups. It fuels political polarization, as people retreat into their respective ideological silos, unwilling to engage in civil discourse or compromise.
Vamos falar sobre ideologias, especificamente marxismo, comunismo e socialismo. Essas ideias são muito discutidas, às vezes usadas como insultos, outras como ideais. Mas o que elas realmente significam? Nesse tour relâmpago, vamos dividir esses conceitos complexos em partes menores. Exploraremos seu contexto histórico, figuras-chave e impacto duradouro. Apertem os cintos, porque vamos mergulhar no mundo das ideias que moldaram sociedades e provocaram revoluções. Essas ideologias não surgiram do nada. Elas surgiram da observação da desigualdade e da injustiça. Pense na Revolução Industrial. Uma riqueza massiva sendo criada, mas muitas vezes às custas da exploração dos trabalhadores. Esse forte contraste levou pensadores como Karl Marx e Friedrich Engels a questionar os próprios fundamentos do sistema econômico. Eles não estavam apenas reclamando. Eles estavam propondo alternativas radicais. Primeiro, o marxismo. Não se trata apenas de ser um velho rabugento reclamando da vida, embora Marx tivesse uma barba fantástica para isso. O marxismo é uma forma de analisar como as sociedades funcionam, particularmente a relação entre aqueles que controlam os meios de produção, a burguesia, e aqueles que trabalham para eles, o proletariado. Imagine o dono de uma fábrica e seus trabalhadores. O dono fornece as ferramentas e os materiais, mas é o trabalho dos trabalhadores que cria o produto. Marx argumentou que esse sistema leva inerentemente à exploração. Marx não apenas diagnosticou o problema, ele propôs uma solução, a revolução. Ele acreditava que o proletariado, por meio de ação organizada, poderia derrubar o sistema capitalista e estabelecer uma sociedade sem classes. Isso nos leva ao comunismo, que na teoria marxista é o objetivo final. O comunismo, no sentido marxista, é um pouco como uma utopia. É uma sociedade sem propriedade privada, onde todos contribuem de acordo com suas habilidades e recebem de acordo com suas necessidades. Pense nisso como um kibbutz gigante, mas em escala global. Agora, ir do capitalismo para o comunismo não é um salto simples. Marx imaginou uma fase de transição, o socialismo. O socialismo pode assumir muitas formas. Ele enfatiza a propriedade social e o controle democrático dos meios de produção. Isso poderia significar cooperativas de trabalhadores, indústrias estatais ou uma mistura de ambos. A ideia principal é que a riqueza e os recursos sejam distribuídos de forma mais equitativa, reduzindo a desigualdade. Pense nisso como tentar nivelar o campo de jogo. É como aquele ditado: uma mão lava a outra. Então, como essas ideias se saíram no mundo real? Bem, nem sempre como planejado. A União Soviética sob Lenin e, mais tarde, Stalin, tentou construir o comunismo, mas acabou caindo no autoritarismo e na repressão. Outros países, como China e Cuba, adotaram suas próprias versões de socialismo, com vários graus de sucesso e desafios. Mesmo em sociedades capitalistas, as ideias marxistas influenciaram movimentos trabalhistas, programas de bem-estar social e lutas anticoloniais. O legado do marxismo, comunismo e socialismo é complexo e frequentemente controverso. Essas ideologias inspiraram tanto esperança quanto horror, levando tanto à libertação quanto à opressão. Entendê-las é crucial para navegar na paisagem política e lidar com os debates em andamento sobre justiça econômica e igualdade social. Então, da próxima vez que você ouvir esses termos sendo usados por aí, lembre-se de que há muito mais neles do que parece.
Institutionalizing division. The rise of racial fanaticism in American society. A critical look at critical race theory in America's classrooms. Racism has long been a profound issue in American society, deeply embedded within its historical fabric. From the brutalities of slavery to the oppressive Jim Crow laws, the legacy of racial discrimination is undeniable and remains a significant topic of discourse. However, to assert that racism solely defines contemporary America would be an oversimplification that neglects the progress achieved over decades. I contend that while racism is rooted in America's past, it does not encapsulate the present reality of the nation. Through systemic reforms and civil rights advancements since the 1960s, it becomes evident that contemporary America is marked by strides toward equality and inclusivity. The history of racism in America is replete with instances of brutality and discrimination against African Americans and other minority groups. Slavery, which persisted for nearly 2 centuries, laid the groundwork for systemic oppression, followed by Jim Crow laws that institutionalized racial segregation and disenfranchisement in the South. These historical injustices are crucial to acknowledge, as they illustrate the depth of racism ingrained in American society. However, recognizing this history does not equate to accepting it as an unchangeable reality for modern America. Numerous legislative reforms have been enacted to dismantle these oppressive structures and promote racial equality. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 are prime examples of how legal frameworks have evolved to protect individuals from discrimination based on race. Since the Civil Rights Movement, significant advancements have been made toward achieving racial equality in various sectors, including education, employment, and politics. For instance, affirmative action policies were introduced to help level the playing field for minorities who had historically faced barriers to education and job opportunities. These measures have resulted in increased representation of people of color in universities and professional fields previously dominated by white individuals. Statistical evidence supports this notion. According to data from the U.S. Census Bureau 2020, there has been substantial growth in minority-owned businesses over recent years, showing economic empowerment among previously marginalized communities. Additionally, political representation has improved significantly. Barack Obama's election as our first black president, no matter your feelings on his presidency, marks a monumental milestone in American history. Critics may argue that systemic racism persists through institutional barriers, such as mass incarceration or disparities in wealth accumulation among races today. While these issues are indeed pressing concerns that require urgent attention and reform, they should not overshadow the progress made, nor suggest that America remains mired exclusively in its racist past. It is essential to recognize that civil rights progress is not solely defined by legislative changes or institutional reforms, but also encompasses the triumphs and resilience exhibited by individuals within marginalized communities. The narrative constructed by CRT often emphasizes systemic barriers, while neglecting the agency demonstrated by those who navigate these challenges successfully. The assertion